Sawadee Krap. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed panelists and valued attendees. It is a great honor to welcome all of you to this insightful panel discussion once again. My name is Zaila Ro, a student from the School of Diplomacy and International Studies here at Rangsit University, and I am really honored to be your moderator. Today we dive into a topic that holds immense significance for governance, integrity, and accountability across ASEAN and beyond. To explore this issue in depth, we are fortunate to be joined by a group of distinguished experts whose contribution to the fight against corruption and governance reforms. Let me first introduce to our esteemed panelists. The first panelist I would like to introduce is Mr. Jo Win Tay, Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption of Myanmar. Next, we have Mr. Adijur Niboyo, representing the Legal Bureau of Indonesia Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK. Next, we have Professor Dr. Prasik Ekaputra, Senior Professor of the Faculty of Law at Rangsit University of Thailand. We are indeed privileged to have such a wealth of knowledge and experience on this panel. Now, without further ado, let's embark on this conversation where we will address some of the most pressing questions surrounding anti-corruption efforts, governance, and their future impact on our society. To start, I would like to ask our panelists to share opening thoughts on this topic, which is strengthening anti-corruption legislation and judicial independence, building robust legal framework. So to start this section, may I invite Mr. Jo Win Tay to start. Mr., the floor is yours. Yes, of course.
It's okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be here on behalf of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Myanmar. I would like to share the strengthening of the anti-corruption legislation and judicial independence. The Myanmar is signed in UNCTAD 2005, and we studying the reviewing of the UNCTAD Convention, and then we ratified 2012. Myanmar is the member of the UNCTAD 2012, and we have enacted the anti-corruption law in 2013 based on the UNCTAD provision. These chapters are very key point or key obligation of the UNCTAD the provision. So we have to the obligation and we have to implement for all of the UNCTAD the provision. So one of my colleagues from the Hong Kong explained for some the chapter the morning section. So I not the detail explain to them, but this is a very important. So there is a three category of the priority. The one is the mandatory. Mandatory means the main must do, must take the action, must adopt that provision. So this is one category is the mandatory. Second is the optional. So you may do or you may make for that one. And third one is the consider to make. So this is the three category of the provision. This slide's the mention for the Myanmar legislation system, law related to combat the corruption. So the all of the successive government implementation for the fight against the corruption. We face the cycle of the UNCTAD, the country visit. This is UNCTAD, the secretary and the member countries are the reviewing. This is one of the provisions of the UNCTAD. So this is the mutual evaluation for any other country for how to implement, how much implement for the UN, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, provision and obligation. So that's why Myanmar is the 2-time the reviewing country visit to here, Myanmar. And then we have the amended for the 4th time. During 10 years, the 4th time amended our anti-corruption law based on the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, the country visit team, the recommendation. So also we have not only the amended, but also the enact the new law. Because of at the time, first cycle at the time, we have a no extradition law, not update the MLA, mutual legal assistance in criminal matter, and then anti-money laundering law. That's why we are the enact the new law according to the UNCTAD recommendation. This is a key, the principle of the anti-corruption law and legal system. So this is the first one is the clean definitions and scope. This is very important for the formation of the domestic law. First one is the name of the law. Second is the definition and all of the provision. So definition is very clear for us because of the bribery and the corruption, and then POC, the pursuit of crime, and the correspondent value. Everything are mentioned in the definition. Also, this is the key because I don't want to detail explain because of time limitation. This is also the effective jurisdiction system of the judicial independence. So these principles, we have to observe and follow up this principle, but some are very difficult. For example, the international relations. So judiciary have a very difficult to, because of normally the judicial are the state separately, but that's why we need to the international cooperation. Because of the corruptions are not fight the single state, but also we need to cooperate for the international community. So anti-corruption law is not stand alone themselves. Because of we need to any other relevant law, the access recovery law, and countering of the financing of the terrorism, and the money laundering law, mutual legal assistance in criminal matter, the same the extradition law, and witness protection, whistleblower protection, and the financial institution law. This is a link with each other for the fight against for the anti-corruption. So the legal reviewing in Myanmar, we would like to share for some experience about the reviewing. So our counterpart and implementation body get together and reviewing our law for any gap, any deficiency, and any not updated for the situation. So they are check the key finding point and we are amend. But we have our country practice more than 50% amend. We have to enact the new law. And then some are not updated, so we can delete and we concentrate and update it for our law. The judicial system also very important for us. The first one is the constitution. Constitution is the independence, judicial independence is very important for the constitution. Constitution is lay down the policy for the independence, the judicial independence to them. And then the political will also, all of the judge or judicial share decide matters in accordance with the law. Because of without any interfere or restriction or threat or pressure. This is very important for change of the proportionate. That's why very important for the political will, and then formations of the court and judicial. Because of some of the code are under the Ministry of the Justice. So some are any involved with the transfer or promotion. That's why they have formations are very important for them. The independence are the same. And then the law enforcement and relevant agency are prepared for complete the case for the convey to the court is more better. And then the hearing system also, not only in front of the court, but also some limitation we can using for the video conferencing or any other way. The last one is a pre-trial briefing. This is we learned from the Malaysia. The judicial systems are very good. So this is a very long time. So we are the pre-trial means anti-corruption cases are before the judicial proceeding, we are collect for all of the evidence and witness to pre-briefing in front of the government prosecutor. And then we are preparation and we going to the judicial proceeding. So this is one of the sample case in Myanmar. So we received the complaint letter, and then some are not the real complaint letter. Some are the personal case, or some are not related for the anti-corruption. That's why the investigation case are the 321, and some are the petty corruption. We are transferred to the relevant agency, relevant department, or relevant ministry. So we take action for the formal, not formal. This is the political, the person is a 67. This is mentioned by the judicial independence. So all are some are the prime minister, some are the minister, some are the postal general, military general. We can take action. And then high-ranking official is a 22%. High-ranking means the director general, managing director, the banker, so they are the action. The officials are 99. Total 337. And then some of the petty corruption case we send to the department or the ministry. They take action themselves. They are law only, may not take action by the anti-corruption law. And then another are sent to the relevant the regional government to take action. And we are the confiscate amount is the 26.4 billion for the Myanmar Chad, and then the 4 million of the US dollar during 3 years in the anti-corruption cases, relevant in the anti-corruption cases. And then we are the recover for some other tax evasion, some other finding under the investigation we found the need to the tax. So that's why we are recover for the public fund for the 156 billion and 3 million of the euro. This is the recommendation for the judicial independence and the strong legal framework. So strong legal framework is reviewing existing law every 4 years. So some ASEAN countries have this practice. They are reviewing every 4 years or 5 years, and then we are amend and updated for the law. And then the follow up for the recommendations for UNCTAD country visit. So every member of the state party of the UNCTAD, we have the country visit. So we are follow up for all of the recommendation. And then the complete of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, the chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 are very difficult to implement because of asset recoveries. Some of the provisions are very difficult to implement because of they are partially surrender of our sovereign. So that's why, but we need to implement the obligation. And then the core and key function. So all the institutions, especially investigation body, need to lay down the core and key function, the effective implementation, and evaluations and monitoring. And then the international cooperation. So morning section, my colleague also explained for the very important for but this is not motion for the MOU, but we need to implement for the effectiveness. And then the conscience mechanism and the widespread the network, deep relation among the LEA. So this is very important. So our country, the practice ONCB, the drug enforcement from the Thailand, very close cooperation. We no need for any the official letter or MOU. This is the very trust each other. That's why very close cooperation. Also, NNCC from the China. So we are very close cooperation. So this why the very deep relationship among LEA is very successful to fight against the corruption. And then the sufficient government issue and facility, and we are catch up the international norm and standard. And ethic and conduct of the code. And capacity building among the community. So all of our investigator, prosecutor, and judiciaries need to the strong capacity for the fight against the corruption. And last one is the very important is the political will, very important for that. So thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jo Win-Tay, for those insightful explanations. Your insightful on the ongoing reforms such as mechanisms and also law enforcement are really founded our discussions to start our discussion further. So now to further expand on the strategies being employed in the regions, I would like to invite Mr. Edijuan Niboyo from the Corruptions Education Commission, KPK of Indonesia.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity given to me in this international conference about corruption. First, I think the issue provided to current anti-corruption laws and independence and effectiveness of judicial system globally. Corruption is a wrongdoing on the part of authority or powerful party through means that are illegitimate, immoral, and incompatible with ethical standards. The idea of changing of the law is a critical awareness and an effort to think about a legal improvement so that they can continue to follow the development of society and the spirit of the times. Corruption undermines the core of the administration of justice, generating a substantial obstacle to the right to an impartial trial and severely undermining the population trust in the judiciary. First issue, what are the strategies related to anti-corruption regulation in order to strengthen the eradication of corruption? Actually, changes is inevitable. Additional regulation are needed for delicacies that have not been regulated in the corruption law but are recommended by United Nations Convention Against Corruption, including bribery of foreign public official and official of international organization, bribery in private sector, acts of trading in influence, and illegal enrichment. Indonesia has ratified the agreement of the ANCAC through the law number 7 of 2009. Concerning ANCAC 2003, through a perfect meeting of the Representative Council of the People of the Republic of Indonesia on March 2006. In modern society, one of the most profound social problems is corruption and illicit enrichment, appearing in various forms from nepotism to bribery to embezzlement. These acts often undermine the social and economic fabric of country. In the context of Indonesian law, the concept of illicit enrichment has not been explicitly defined or regulated in the anti-corruption law. However, in Indonesian law, Article 12B of the Corruption Eradication Law regulated gratuities that may be linked to the concept of illicit enrichment. Although not explicit, this law implicitly implies recognition of the concept of illicit enrichment, whereby an increase in the wealth of the public official for no apparent reason can be viewed as a form of corruption. The goal of strengthening anti-corruption regulation in Indonesia has comprehensive and holistic anti-corruption regulation so that it becomes a strong legal basis for the government, especially law enforcement agencies such as KPK. And the second issue, how to strengthen the judicial system in the context of eradicating corruption. Corruption is commonly defined as the misuse of public officer or entrust power for private gain. When we talk about judicial system corruption, paradigmatic image is that of judge taking bribes. Judicial corruption is a lot more, however. It includes all forms of inappropriate influence that may damage the impartiality of justice, may involve any actor within the justice system, including lawyers and administrative staff. The question of corruption is not only a matter of relation between judicial personnel and court user, but it also about internal relation in the judiciary. Biased decision making is thus not only a matter of the personal integrity of judicial personnel, but concerns the structural protection of judicial independence and the insulation of judicial decision makers from illegitimate political and hierarchical influence. The key issue and the challenges in judicial anti-corruption reforms center around balancing the wide discretionary power afforded to judges to enable them to act independently and the need for oversight mechanism to hold judges to account. A challenge for anti-corruption reformers is identifying the particular opportunities for judicial system actors to act corruptly, that is identifying the risk of corruption within judicial institution. KPK angle have three sentences. First, eradication effort of corrupting in Indonesia have been carried out, but until now are still many corruption cases that have been resolved in various ways by the perpetrator or corruptors. Therefore, in eradicating corruption, it is necessary to carry out integrated enforcement, international cooperation, and harmonized regulation. The KPK has experience in investigating and prosecuting corruption in judicial sector. Some of the perpetrators are judges. It must be concerned. The strategy to handle that, given the corruption in the judicial system is a problem in most countries, there is a need for system to uncover irregularities and discipline and dismiss corrupt officers. If misused, however, anti-corruption strategies become very effective tools for undermining judicial independence by ridding the judiciary of independent-minded judges, then the authorities find bothersome and scare others from following in their tracks. Examples are many. I think three types of treatment. First, addressing judicial corruption, and second, addressing petty corruption, and the last one, addressing undue political pressure. What strategy? How a non-corrupt judicial system is achieved will depend on the particular facts of its system operation. Yet, the qualities of independence and impartiality, integrity, accountability, and transparency are common attributes. These attributes interact and overlap to some extent. First, judicial independence and impartiality. Second, judicial accountability. Third, judicial integrity. And the last one, judicial transparency. Thank you for this session. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. John, for sharing your experience about the KPK approaches and treatments and strategies. That's very insightful for our further discussion. So to complete our panelist discussions and presentation, I now have the pleasure of welcoming Professor Dr. Prasidi Ekuputra, Senior Professor of the Faculty of Law at Rangsit University, Thailand. Professor, the floor is yours.
So my topic today is the problem how to strengthening the Supreme Audit Institution of Thailand in order to scrutinize the spending money of the government effectively and more efficiently? How can we ensure that the money of the people, people pay tax to the government? How can we ensure that that kind of tax collected from our people in Thailand, they all pay tax every day. VAT, value added tax, for example, you buy anything, you consume everything, you pay tax every time. 7% rate of tax, VAT, and not counted for other tax, a lot of tax in each country. How can we ensure that that kind of tax must be utilized in terms of transparency, and how can we ensure that the government officer in the government unit, in the government agency, will we never make a corruption, we never commit a corruption, we never commit their service in exchange of dirty money, under table payment from the businessmen or from the people who would like to have, such as ask permission, ask the certification from the government, permission for building, everything. How can we ensure that the government officer will have a transparency services vis-a-vis to this kind of government money? So, in brief, in our world, we can classify Supreme Audit Institution, audit office of the government. How can we classify them? Around the world, we can classify into two types of Supreme Audit Institution. The principle, yes, the Supreme Audit Institution must have independent from the government, and they must have the right to scrutinize the spending money from the government in a manner that to ensure that that kind of money will be utilized as a transparent money. The first type of Supreme Audit Institution is signed without jurisdictional, without court jurisdiction. Look like in Thailand we have board of audit. We have a governor of board of audit that we call the SAO, Supreme Audit Office. But the SAO of Thailand has no court of audit, or so-called audit court. In French, we call la Cour des comptes. This is another type of the Supreme Audit Institution in minority group of countries in this world. They are so effective, and the evidence show right now from the various research, it made me surprised a lot when I learned from the fact that for the rest of the world, look around a quarter of 190 signs around the world. Only 40 signs or small number of signs who have court jurisdiction to control the payment of the government. They can control corruption much more effective, much more better than the rest of the world who have board of government, who have a board of auditor, but the board of auditor doesn't make a great effort or doesn't make a good result in terms of the combat against corruption. For the rest of the world, that's why my question would like to ask Khun Suthi, the morning session, do Thailand need la Cour des comptes right now? According to the fact, since 1995, until 2023. If you see the graphic image show that Thailand has ever in the high rank, very high rank, 34th among 180. We are so clean country in the past. Right now, you see 201 in the year 2022. And in the year 2023, we sank down into the ranking of Thailand, became 108 least corrupt nation. When we compare as a whole 180, we are in the red zone right now. These graphics show that Thailand is in the corruption crisis. We cannot deny the fact that we are in crisis of corruption. Even though we have a law, we have a lot of anti-corruption organizations, such as the SAO, such as the Commissioner Anti-Corruption, and so on, so on. A lot of law, a lot of government officers who handle this job. But why our nation sank down in the red zone like that? It means that we cannot deny that there are some defects in our law and some defect in our enforcement of law as well. That's why we encounter this big problem. I would like to introduce you that day-to-day basis of the SAO in Thailand, what they do. The main function of the SAO, first, they need to scrutinize the use of public funds for better and wiser spending of public money or public fund. Yes, all the sides around the world do the same thing, right? Scrutinize the use of public funds. Secondly, they have a plan to develop modern audit system for more effectively in order to combat corruption, so that they try to use the new technology such as AI, artificial intelligence, or online audit right now. It is in the next step of the SAO of Thailand we do in the next year. I think they have a plan already. They will launch soon, I think. And hopefully that our graphic image will be better for that reason. Third, promote transparency administrative system, communicate information to the stakeholder that what side did every year, and by making a report to the public and send this kind of audit report to the Thai Parliament in order to scrutinize the government agency and scrutinize the government as well in the Parliament. Finally, the SAO try to facilitate Thai citizen engagement with the audit system of the SAO. The SAO must be open, must be an open forum for the people to visit the website freely and share all kinds of audit report to the Thai people in order to let them have a freedom to scrutinize the fact what are the big obstructions in terms of spending money, why we have the problem of corruption. For the role of the SAO today, we try to modernize the role of the SAO as the other side in this world. According to the INTOSAI standard, we follow INTOSAI standard. INTOSAI means International Organization of Supreme Audit Institution, which is a world audit institution organization like that we call INTOSAI. INTO refer to international organization, and AI refer to audit institution, Supreme Audit Institution, S Supreme, A audit, I institution. So INTOSAI refer to the world of the SAI organization. The standard of the INTOSAI that Thailand adopt, there are three standards: financial audit standard, compliance audit standard, and performance audit standard. First of all, for financial audit standard, the auditor of Thailand needs to scrutinize every budget of the government and every receipt, every evidence in terms of financial payment. Did the government officer in that office agency, they did pay correctly or not? Not only that, it is the duty of the auditor of Thailand to scrutinize whether they did pay. Yes, they have receipt, but did they pay correctly according to the law, financial law of Thailand or not? Do the leader of the state agency abuse the law or not? Do the government procurement did perform correctly or not, transparent or not? And not only that, the auditor need to scrutinize the performance of budget spending, whether that kind of budget spending can be accepted or not in terms of pay too much or not. If you buy microphone like this, do you buy with this normal price or you buy microphone with a special price, a very expensive price in turn, and you receive under-table money from the company, private company, who would like to offer, please buy my microphone, this model. I will give you this kind of money. That is a promise of dirty money that they try to make a bribery for you, right? And if you, as a government officer, you accept that, yes, I will buy your microphone if you pay that money for me, this is not compliant audit. This is not compliant with the law, right? And even though it is correct as you did comply according to the Thai law, it is the duty of the auditor in Thailand to verify whether that price of microphone is too expensive or not. Why you don't buy why you did not choose the other company who offered the lower price and the same quality? That is the big problem of performance audit. Sometimes when the dean change, when some faculty of public or state public university, when they change the director or they change the dean of the faculty, they try to change the new car. They would like to have a new office. They would like to buy luxury product into the room of the dean or into the room office of the rector. This is corrupt or not? Why you spend too much money for that price? Even though the furniture in that room is always the same, you can utilize the chair, the table like that. Why you change? Why you change? You change them all. This is a type of another corruption, even though it's quite correct according to the law, but it's not a good performance in terms of utilize money of government, and it is not fair for the taxpayer who pay tax. They don't want to change your luxury furniture in your office, even though you are a new rector of the university. That is not a transparent manner. That's why it is the duty of the SAO to scrutinize such a thing. And for the rest of my PowerPoint, there are a lot of series of international standards of IntoSign. If you want to verify the detail, you can use my PowerPoint. For the next, right now for the LACU-DECOM, if we want to have LACU-DECOM, we need to know what is LACU-DECOM. LACU-DECOM, or the court, the audit court of France, right? The Cour des Comptes is the supreme body for auditing the use of public funds in France. It is independent from the government and the parliament. It has financial jurisdiction. The key word is financial jurisdiction. France has a long history. That's why they have La Cour des Comptes on behalf of the service for the King of France in the Louis XVI. They have La Cour des Comptes already. In terms of, they have La Cour des Comptes in order to scrutinize whether the government officer of the king in France utilize money according to the law of France or not, the French law or not. So La Cour des Comptes have 4 missions. They have to judge, they have to control, they have to evaluate public money, and they have to certify whether that spending of public money is correct or not in terms of audit report. So La Cour des Comptes play 2 roles. First, the first role of La Cour des Comptes play the role of the SAI, Supreme Audit Institution of France, scrutinize, which is so-called audit mission. This is the first mission of La Cour des Comptes. The second mission of La Cour des Comptes is the second of doing the duty of the court of account, in order to verify whether these government officers have committed offense, financial offense against, do they corrupt or not, look like that. If we found that they are corrupt, disciplinary sanction will be sanction them. If we found the evidence that they did corrupt and break the law, breach the law, they need to go to court of anti-corruption court for sure, right? For La Cour des Comptes did not play the role as a criminal court, but they play the role as an administrative court in terms of financial administrative court. That is the main function of La Cour des Comptes. That's why it is so interesting if Thailand can accept the role of La Cour des Comptes as the administrative financial court and put it this kind of judicial power to the side of Thailand in order to slow down the, I would like to say just slow down the corruption in Thailand and deter the motive to make a corruption for the government officer of Thailand to warn them that if you try, you may be tried before the La Cour des Comptes of Thailand. That's why the SAO right now has no judicial function. Do we need La Cour des Comptes is model? This is my question. So if we would like to have La Cour des Comptes in Thailand, I may suggest that we need not to copy La Cour des Comptes of France in every aspect. We just accept the litigation. We just accept La Cour des Comptes litigation chamber model and adopt this kind of model in order to have a solution in terms of anti-corruption solution. As a financial court of first instance for Thailand, in order to scrutinize the misconduct in terms of utilized money of the government, whether they did utilize public fund mismanagement or not. That is, if we found that the head of the manager of the state agency did utilize the fund in the wrong manner or misconduct, they need to be tried before the La Cour des Comptes. So I suggest Kun Suthi to establish this kind of La Cour des Comptes. And I hope that the Court of Account in Thailand will be established soon for this purpose. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your thoughtful and enriching insights about the standards and also many financial jurisdictions that strengthen the rule of law to combat corruption. So, to end our flow of panel discussions, I would like to hear the final suggestions. As Professor mentioned about that, even though there are many corruption commissions in individual country, there are still corruption. There are still corruption rate. So to combat corruption, what are your final suggestions to give our audience about to combat the corruptions for jurisdictions of the corruption? What were the final suggestions that you would like to deliver to our honorable audience today? Start from Professor.
As I suggest you to change from the old model of the Supreme Audit Institution, change their duty into play a role not on the audit mission. They need to do another mission which more effectively, that is a court mission, administrative court mission. I mean administrative financial court mission. This is quite important. If you can do such a thing, the head, the general director of the military group, military division, they don't want to buy aircraft anymore because they need to go to the court to explain why I buy this aircraft, why I buy Gripen, why I buy F-16 from the United States. You need to go to the court. Do you want to go? I think that they hesitate to make a corruption, right? And this kind of court must have an independent as well.
Okay, Mr. Juan, what's your final suggestions to give our honorable audience to combat anti-corruption? As you walk in the KPK, which is really famous for combating anti-corruption, which will be your final suggestions for our honorable audience?
Thank you for opportunity to me. I think Indonesia fight against corruption has seen significant development with the establishment of the Corruption Eradication Commission (KPK). The key component of an effective strategy, we think first, strengthening institution. A critical step in combating corruption involves strengthening the institution tasked with this mandate. This includes not only ensuring that bodies like anti-corruption agency, like a KPK and anti-corruption agency in other countries, have sufficient resource and independence to carry out their duty stuff. And second, legal and regulatory reforms. The legal framework governing anti-corruption effort must be clear, comprehensive, and enforceable. This includes revising existing laws to close loopholes that allow corrupt practices to persist and introducing a new legislation that addresses emerging challenges. Notably, laws regarding political financing, public procurement, conflict of interest, and specifically the criminalization of illicit enrichment and corruption in private sector need to strengthen controls and transparent process. And the last, transparency and accountability in public service. Enhancing transparency involves ensuring that all governmental processes and decisions are open to scrutiny. This can be achieved through the implementation of open data initiative, where government data is made freely available and accessible to the public. Additionally, establishing mechanisms for accountability, such as audit system and performance reviews, can be help ensure that deviation from ethical standards are identified and addressed promptly. I think that
Okay.
experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Juan. And also, as we have Commissioner of Myanmar. So, as a Commissioner of Myanmar, which will be your final suggestions to give our audience? Which will be final suggestions to combat corruptions?
Corruption is the loss of the character. The character lose. So this is but that's why we not accept for this crime. So also maintain for our ethic and code of conduct. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. And then thank you to our audience, and also a big thank you to our panelists, and your insights are very, very good foundation to step on the policy and also many things to combat corruptions. And then in this panel, we have dived into the best practices from country, Myanmar, Indonesia, and even Thailand. And then the section over by our esteemed panelists highlights the importance of learning from one another and adapting successful strategies to fit our unique regional challenges. So I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished panelists, Mr. Jowinte, Mr. Edijuan Niboyo, Professor Dr. Prasit Akaputra. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to our moderators and the panelists.
Before we proceed to the next discussion, we would like to invite Dato Haji Nik Suhaimi bin Nik Sulaiman. Please give us the honor to come up on the stage and present the token of appreciation to our panelists. A few more snaps. Thank you very much, everyone. And now please have, okay, a little bit more. Thank you very much, and now please have your seats.